good morning, people of the Tinterweb and YouTube, and fellow humans. Auto addicts. So, 50,000 miles and 2 years. What's the Renault been like? Well, it's taken a little bit longer than it should have done to get to 50,000 with a couple of years of COVID. Normally my car would be almost ready to go by now, but I've only done 50,000 in the last 2 years. But what's it been like? Well, let's have a look into it. I would like to take this moment to talk briefly about my sponsor for this video. No, I wouldn't. I don't have a sponsor. I'm not that big. Well, the YouTube channel's not that big. I'm sorry. But anyway, moving on. If this video feels like it was randomly put together in a hurry from various bits of footage that I happen to have lying around on the computer, then there's very good reason for that, because that's exactly what's happened. In order to get a video out to you this Saturday, as I like to do once a fortnight on a Saturday afternoon for your viewing pleasure, I've got nothing else done, so I thought I'd quickly knock together the video on the review of 50,000. Anyway, yeah, should you wish to catch up on the history of this car, the Pizza, the Corvette, the Land Rover, or any of the other videos I may have done, feel free to check out my back catalogue of videos. Feel free to check out my back catalogue of videos. Oh, it's some of which I can actually speak in. A lot I can't. Should you wish to know about mechanical problems, how to fix them, the best way to deal with issues, both mechanical, electrical, whatever else, then there are several videos in that catalogue that will absolutely not help you one little bit, but feel free to peruse them anyway. Anyway, back to the video. So what's it been like then? 50,000 miles, 2 years, Renault Megane. Well, as I said, let's take you back through time and turn me light off. So, as you know from previous videos, we've had our issues. It has had 2 or maybe even 3 clutch master cylinders, where the little plastic thing keeps snapping off or keeps breaking between the clutch pedal and the cylinder. Very poor design choice there, but not just a Renault issue. Seems to be common on several other cars as well, apparently. So what else have we got? Well, let's take you through initially what I like, because it's a shorter list. It's quite a comfy car, you know, reasonably comfy. The handling is competent, we'll so go with. It's not exceptional, but it is competent. The steering in sport mode is not bad. It's nicely weighted, reasonable amount of feel. In the other modes, it's just, again, acceptable. Quite a lot of road noise. Oh, the infotainment system, that's not bad. I don't like the fact you have to go through that. Oh no, we're not doing don't likes, we're doing likes. Stick with likes. I like the lights, the LED lights, I like them. Outside, they're a bit unusual, stand out a little bit. But that's not always a good thing, standing out. But anyway, the colour, I like the colour. It's a nice colour. red. Well, it's polished up. That's nice. Right, problems. Well, I don't like, you sitting down, the wing mirror stalks, the bits that hold the wing mirror to the car. They seem to be perfectly designed to get rainwater. Well, let me show you. There you go, look. You can see here, perfectly designed to get the rainwater to come up the screen and pool around the side windows, right in where you look through to see the mirrors. So when it's raining, and particularly on dirty water roads, roads with dirty water, you just have got no idea what's happening in the mirrors. You can't see them, and obviously it then dries in that bit and that bit of the windows. It's poor design, very poor design. Obviously, we've covered in a previous video this bit along here that you can't see. Again, I'll either insert a clip or you can look back through a previous video. There's a massive, the A pillars are big enough as it is, but then you've got a massive bit of the screen that's unwiped, giving you a massive blind spot. Really noticeable on right hand curves on some of the back roads and on roundabouts where you can't see the roundabout, so you end up doing this all the time to look round the beam. We go on to infotainment issues, things like the heater. If you want to make any alterations, or the fans and all that sort of stuff, you've got to go into a menu. If you twiddle the heater knobs, you have to do it in a slowly, precise, clicky way, otherwise you can spin it loads and loads and loads and it makes no difference what the temperature is. What else have we got? Well, oh God, the glove box pathetic. Like a lot of French cars, they don't move the fuse box for right hand drive cars, so the glove box is pathetic. We recently had a puncture in this car. Obviously now I can't blame the car for that, but what I can blame the car for is just all the bings and the bongs and the puncture warnings and the bleeping and the flashing lights, because it doesn't like the fact I've got a space saver on the car. The space saver that came with the car, but because it can't see or it can still see the sensor in the wheel that has been taken off, it's binging and bonging at you, and you can't get to your odometer, and you can't, because oh my God, it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I thought, okay, you go in the thing, reset the tyre pressure thing so it knows that, no, it makes no difference. So here we have another problem. The car's got a puncture. Fine, not the car's fault. Space saver's on. The space saver supplied with the car, but we've got this: stop, puncture, warning lights. And unfortunately this means I can't get my mileage, I can't get my trip computer, I can't do anything, because the car has decided I shouldn't actually be driving because I've got a puncture, even though the space saver is on the vehicle. Wonderful. I hate modern cars. So it's flashing away at me because it's got a space saver on the front. Bloody thing. Now, a lot of what I don't like on this car is modern car stuff. It's not necessarily specific to this car, it's just generic modern car stuff. So I can't totally blame Renault for this. But yeah, I don't like that. I don't like the fact that so often I go to get in the car, it knows I'm there, the wing mirrors have come out, the lights have come on, but the sensor in that door handle, it doesn't register, so you have to go and open the back door or something just to get it unlocked so you can open the front door. I hate the fact that the alarm is constantly going off, because the engine fan, when you're on a drive, the fan will keep going when you've turned the car off. Not uncommon. Not uncommon at all. What is uncommon is that seems to confuse the car and it seems to think it's being stolen. So its own engine fan sets the alarm off. It is a pain in the backside, because you either have two choices. You just sit with the car until it's cooled down enough for the fan to go off, which can take 20 minutes. Or you just let the alarm keep going off. It's a pain. It's an absolute pain. Speaking of the spare wheel issue, the spare wheel is underneath the car, so you think, great, I haven't got to take everything out of the boot to get to the spare wheel. Oh yes you do, because the bit to unscrew the hanger for the spare wheel is underneath the cover in the boot, so you need to take everything out of the boot to remove that cover, to get to the little bung, to remove that bung so you can undo that bolt. For someone like me who has a boot that's permanently full up with tools and spares, that is a pain in the rear end, especially when, as it was, it's raining. On a side note to the puncture, went into the garage where I get sent to have the puncture repaired. I've had it up to 50 psi, there's no puncture on that. Well, okay, fair enough. Maybe just a leaky valve or a slight leak on the rim and it's cured itself, whatever. So puts it on the car, drive a few miles up the road, the car's binging and bonging at me, puncture, blah, blah, blah. So back to the garage. Oh no, it must be a dodgy sensor. Well, it must be dodgy arms as well, because I can feel it's gone flat. So anyway, pumps it up, says, there you go, try to see how that goes. I said, I know how that's going to go. I'm going to get down the road and it's going to be a flat tyre again, and I'm going to be putting a space saver on in the rain yet again. So anyway, he made me wait an hour before he'd put the space saver back on, because he's a pillock. I go home and, well, you can see here, there we go, they couldn't find it. A tyre shop, me with a bottle of water, soapy water, in the back of my car, and there it is. Ridiculous. Anyway, as you see, bit of soapy water, 30 seconds, I found a fault they couldn't find. So yeah, it took 2 days to get a puncture repaired. Not the car's fault, I just thought, well, I'd go off on a tangent because it annoyed me. Back to the car. What else have we had go wrong? Obviously we've had the clutch problems. We had an issue where I don't know if I covered this in a previous video or not, I can't remember. If I didn't, I'll add some clips in here, possibly, if I've got any. Had an issue where we've had 2 issues actually, which I don't think I've covered before. Headlight bulb went. Trouble is, headlight bulb going took out the other headlight bulb, so I had no headlights. Great. So I had to drive 30 odd miles home using the daytime running lights, because when you turn the headlights on they dim down, so if you turn the headlights off they brighten up, and I could just about see enough to get home. Thankfully this car, the rear lights, rear LED running lights are on all the time. Some cars don't have rear ones, this does, which was good. So that's a ridiculous thing. So we have another problem with the Renault. As you can see by this, and this makes it look brighter than it actually is, this camera, but that wall is totally dark, yet my lights are on. You can see if I flash me lights there, and if I turn them off, my daytime running lights obviously brighten up. So my daytime running lights are now brighter than my headlights. That's fun. I've just had to drive 30 odd miles home on my daytime running lights, which was not ideal. But let's investigate this next Renault problem. Well, rather bizarrely, it seems to have taken out both bulbs at the same time. the inner one on both sides. Both of those high beam work, and if I put the high beam bulb in there, that works, and vice versa. If I put the bulb from there in the high beam, it doesn't work. Obviously only very briefly, just to test. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to buy a couple of bulbs, but why they've both gone at the same time, I really don't know. So at this point, I suppose I should be grateful that the LED running lights on this are so bright, and the rear lights are working, which are the LEDs on the rear anyway. So yeah, at least I could be seen, even if I couldn't really see. So let's replace these bulbs. As with all modern cars, they're a pain in the ass to get to. There's a little cover, the wire isn't long enough. You've got silly little clips on there. Is there another clip there? No, I'm not sure how that, I think that just clips on, but yeah, wire's just not really long enough and these silly little clips. But anyway, we'll get it done, do that side and see how it works. Normal. Side lights, so the LEDs dull down a bit. Dipped beam, thankfully. And full beam. Good, good, good. Now let's just hope they don't pop again. Also, the car decided to inform me one day that I only had about 300 miles left to go before the Adblue run out. Okay, bit unusual. Usually it tells me about 1200 miles. So I got some Adblue, filled the Adblue up, and it kept counting down, and kept counting down, and kept counting down. Rung up Renault, the local garage to my depot, who said, that'll probably be fine. If it does pack up, then just call Renault Assist. That wasn't acceptable. I do a lot of miles. I don't want to be randomly broken down in the middle of nowhere because the car thinks it's run out of Adblue. So after getting onto our finance director, he got onto Renault, and Renault rang me back and gave me an appointment. Turns out there's an ECU fault where it couldn't see the Adblue injector. So while the Adblue was filled up, the car didn't know it had any in it because there was an ECU fault. Getting lots of problems. They're all little silly niggly things, but they all add up to the point where in the 2 years and 50,000 miles I've had this car, it's permanently going to have work done on it. So yeah, bit of a downer really. I don't like the buttons down the side. They're touch sensitive rather than actual buttons for the infotainment. Here, like, oh, there you go, these. So you have to just touch them, which is great, apart from because you can't feel the button, you have to sort of look and get your finger precise, and you know, if you're on a bumpy road you hit the wrong thing, and you can't just feel a button and then press it, because you have to get your finger in just the right place before your finger goes anywhere near it. That's a pain in the backside. I don't like that. And you've just fallen down over there, so we'll stick with this one for now. But yeah, it's not the most joyous a video, this one, but what can I say, it is what it is. It's not a bad car. For most people, this car, in fairness, would be okay. It's comfortable, it's reasonably competent, most people would be fine with it. It's just unfortunate, I do a lot of miles and my previous car was so much better. But yeah, so there we go. There's a brief roundup, not a particularly joyous one, but a brief roundup of the, oh yeah, and the rear view camera. That's useless in this time of year because it's just right where all the dirt flicks up and you can't see anything out of it. But yeah, anyway, but honestly, despite all its foibles, all its problems, most of the problems I honestly believe are just generic modern car problems. The electronics, the silly little bings and bongs and sensors and keyless entry not working properly. All these things I think are just generally something you're going to struggle with most modern cars, especially lower down the price point like this one is. So despite everything, a lot of which, as I said, I don't believe is necessarily down to this particular car or make or model or what have you, I actually like the car. As bizarre as that may sound, with all its problems, this left me stranded a few times, and it just don't get me wrong, I wish it was a lot more reliable. It would be a far nicer car if it was more reliable. And yes, I would like a better gearbox. And yes, I wish there wasn't so many blind spots and the electrics were better and blah blah blah. But as I've said, blind spots, dodgy electrics, too many sensors, too many bings and bongs. It's just modern cars. So, out of the ones that were given to or offered to me, don't get me wrong, there are better cars out there, but out of the choices I had, I'm still glad I picked this car. I'm a moron, I know that, I can't help it. So yeah, draw your own conclusions to that, but yeah, I quite like the car. It's not the best in the world, it's not the quickest in the world, it's certainly not the most reliable, but it's a nice drive. It does everything reasonably well, apart from being reliable. Yeah. The usual thing, like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully the next video will be a bit cheerier. I don't know what the next one will be. It might be a review, it might be some work on the Land Rover, because the central lock-in's backed up on that. Land Rover. Or it might be some more work on the pizza. We'll have to wait and see. But whatever it is, I'll see you in a fortnight when we come back for another episode of Auto Addicts. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.